Welcome back to the channel USA Coins 69, Coin Collectors and History Buffs. Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating piece of American numismatic history, the United States Roosevelt I dime from 1967. This coin may look like an ordinary dime at first glance, but what hides beneath its silver surface could make it one of the most valuable coins you'll ever come across. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll discover how this modest dime can be worth an astounding $45,000. Let's start with some background. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of American currency since 1946, honoring the legacy of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States and a man whose leadership left a profound impact on the nation. The design, created by the renowned sculptor John R. Sinnock, features Roosevelt's profile on the obverse side, a symbol of hope and resilience during challenging times. The reverse proudly displays a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, representing liberty, peace, and strength. Now, the 1967 Roosevelt dime was minted during an era of great transition in U.S. coinage. This was the twilight of the silver dime era. In fact, 1965 marked the year when the U.S. Mint stopped using silver in dimes and quarters, shifting to a copper-nickel-clad composition. But interestingly, some 1967 dimes were still made with the traditional silver content, although these were extremely limited and not released into general circulation. This rare production twist is what gives the 1967 Roosevelt dime its extraordinary allure among collectors. The coin's condition plays a massive role in its value. A 1967 Roosevelt dime that's been carefully preserved, free from scratches, wear, and discoloration, can command impressive prices. Collectors prize coins with sharp details, lustrous surfaces, and original mint shine. Coins with proof quality, struck with extra care and detail for collectors rather than for general circulation, are especially sought after. One of the reasons this dime can be so valuable is the infamous silver strike mystery. Officially, number 1967 dimes were supposed to be made with silver. However, a few silver-clad specimens somehow slipped through the cracks. Whether through minting errors or deliberate testing pieces, the origins are debated. These rare silver dimes are prized because they represent a rare glimpse into minting anomalies and the transition period of American coinage. The demand for these rare coins skyrockets because collectors know they hold a unique place in history. Not only are they beautiful artifacts of the Roosevelt dime legacy, but they also represent a specific moment when U.S. coinage was changing forever. The intersection of history, art, and rarity makes the 1967 Roosevelt dime a true treasure. Now, let's talk value. While most common Roosevelt dimes from this era might only be worth their face value or a few dollars at most, those elusive silver strikes or perfect proof versions can fetch astonishing prices. The 1967 Roosevelt dime in pristine, silver form has been known to command prices that reach into the tens of thousands, sparking excitement and frenzy among serious numismatists. Imagine holding a dime in your hand, something so small and seemingly insignificant, that could turn out to be worth $45,000. It's a testament to the fascinating world of coin collecting, where history, rarity, and condition converge to create extraordinary value. For anyone who suspects they might own a 1967 Roosevelt dime, it's worth getting it professionally appraised, especially if the coin looks different from the standard clad versions or shows signs of being silver. Authentication is key because counterfeit and altered coins exist, and a genuine silver 1967 dime is incredibly rare and valuable. So whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone curious about coins, the 1967 Roosevelt dime stands as a shining example of how a simple piece of currency can become a prized artifact. From its historic design honoring a beloved president to its rare minting anomalies, this dime tells a story far beyond its size. Today, because we're not talking about just any coin, we're talking about a coin so rare, so coveted, and so steeped in numismatic lore, that it has become the holy grail of American dimes. Today, we're uncovering the incredible story behind the United States Barber I dime from the year 1894. This isn't just a coin. This is a symbol of forgotten wealth, lost treasures, and a slice of American minting history wrapped in one small piece of silver. And what makes this coin truly mind-blowing is not just its age or design, but the mystery behind why it was made, how many exist, and the jaw-dropping amount of money collectors are willing to pay for it today. Stick with me until the end, because you're going to want to hear just how much this little dime is worth. I promise you, it's going to blow your mind. Let's begin with the origin. The 1894 Barber dime is named after Charles E. Barber, the chief engraver of the United States Mint, who designed the dime, quarter, and half dollar during the late 19th century. His design features Lady Liberty in profile wearing a Phrygian cap and laurel wreath, a symbol of freedom, wisdom, and classical beauty. The reverse side bears the words, "1 dime," surrounded by a wreath of various American flora, an elegant tribute to the country's identity and natural strength. But why is the 1894 Barber dime so incredibly rare? Here's where the story turns mysterious. In 1894, at the San Francisco Mint, only 24 Barber dimes were struck. That's right, just 24. Not 24,000, not 24 million, just 24 coins. This tiny mintage immediately set the stage for the coin to become a legend. There are several theories about why only 24 were minted. Some say it was a special run for high-level dignitaries or collectors. Others believe it was a clerical or accounting decision, to balance the mint's annual records. And then there's the most intriguing theory of all, that some were made as gifts, possibly for bankers or politicians, with no intention of ever putting them into general circulation. Whatever the truth may be, the U.S. Mint never issued an official explanation, and the mystery only adds to the coin's mystique. Now, let's fast forward through the decades. Out of those original 24 dimes, only 9 are known to exist today. Some are in private collections, some are displayed in museums, and one, according to folklore, was spent by a little girl on a dish of ice cream in the early 1900s because she didn't realize what she had in her hand. That dime has never been recovered, and its fate remains one of numismatics' greatest unsolved mysteries. Imagine finding that in your change jar. What makes the 1894 Barber dime so exciting isn't just its rarity. It's the aura around it. Every time one of these dimes appears at auction, the entire coin collecting world holds its breath. And when it sells, it doesn't just make news in the coin community, it makes headlines across the world. The coin's design, scarcity, and historical intrigue make it an irresistible target for elite collectors. It's not just a coin, it's a status symbol, a trophy, a once-in-a-lifetime piece of American heritage. And let's not forget, it's over 130 years old. Very few coins that old have such an astonishing story and so few surviving examples. And here's another twist: condition matters. Most surviving 1894 dimes are in reasonably good condition, considering their age. But those that remain in mint or near mint state? Those are the absolute crown jewels. One particular specimen, kept in pristine condition for over a century, once sold for a record-breaking amount that stunned even the most seasoned collectors. Imagine the thrill of holding this coin in your hand. Imagine knowing you're touching one of the rarest pieces of American coinage ever created. That this small silver dime, just 10 cents in face value, is worth more than most homes, more than most luxury cars, more than some private islands. So now, let's get to the big reveal that if you're lucky enough to own an 1894 Barber dime in pristine, collector-grade condition, or if you're one of the very few people on this planet who comes across one in a forgotten collection, dusty drawer, or old family keepsake, you might just be holding a coin worth $3.3 million. Yes, you heard that right. $3,300,000. One single dime. One of just 9 known examples. A treasure beyond imagination, and that's why the 1894 Barber dime has become the dream of every coin collector around the world. It's a living legend, a coin that bridges the gap between history and fortune. Today's story will change the way you look at coins forever. We're about to uncover the unbelievable tale behind one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1975 Roosevelt 1 dime. Now, you might be thinking, 1975? That's not even that long ago. What could possibly make a dime from that year so valuable? But that's exactly what makes this story so wild. Because this isn't just about a 10-cent coin, it's about a rare mistake, a secret few people knew about for decades, and a coin so special, it turned a simple pocket change into a small fortune. The Roosevelt dime has been a familiar face in American currency since 1946. It was introduced shortly after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a beloved leader who guided the country through the Great Depression and most of World War II. His portrait on the dime was a tribute not only to his leadership but also to his founding of the March of Dimes, a campaign to fight polio. From that year on, the dime carried his legacy. Fast forward to the 1970s. The United States Mint had gone through major changes. Silver was no longer used in most coins. Technology had improved. But even with all these advancements, sometimes, just sometimes, a tiny mistake at the mint could create something truly rare, something that could change a collector's life forever. In 1975, the U.S. Mint was preparing for a big event, the upcoming bicentennial celebration in 1976. Special quarters, half dollars, and dollars were being created with special 1776 to 1976 dual dates to mark the 200th anniversary of American independence. But something very peculiar happened that year with the dime. A mysterious variety appeared. A coin that shouldn't exist. In the normal production cycle, every dime from 1975 was supposed to have a mint mark. That's the little letter on the coin, either a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no letter for Philadelphia. But then, a few dimes slipped through the cracks, dimes that were struck without a mint mark. And these weren't just any missing mint mark dimes. These came from the San Francisco Mint, where they were supposed to be special proof coins, coins made for collectors with mirror-like finishes, sharp details, and polished perfection. Now here's the kicker: proof coins from the San Francisco Mint always carry an S mint mark. Always. But somehow, a tiny handful of these 1975 proof dimes were released without that mint mark. No S. Just the date, and Roosevelt's profile staring boldly into history. And that is what changed everything. What makes these No. S. 1975 Roosevelt dimes so incredibly valuable is simple: they were never meant to exist. These were supposed to be flawless, specially produced, hand-checked coins for proof sets. Yet, someone at the mint, maybe through human error, maybe through a mix-up, struck a few without the identifying S mark. The result? A coin that collectors didn't even know existed for a while. A coin so rare, only a few examples have ever been confirmed. Imagine opening up a proof set in 1975, casually glancing through the coins, and spotting a dime with no mint mark. At first, you'd probably assume it was a fluke, or maybe even worthless. But today, those few who held onto them are sitting on one of the most valuable U.S. dimes in history, and let's not forget the condition factor. These dimes weren't regular circulation coins. They were struck for collectors, meaning they were kept in excellent condition. So the few that exist are often found in stunning quality, with sharp details and brilliant finishes. That only drives their value even higher. What's truly fascinating about this story is that it reminds us how a simple oversight can lead to something extraordinary. In the world of coin collecting, errors and anomalies are often more valuable than perfection. They become rare artifacts, little mysteries from history that captivate the imagination of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters. If you're lucky enough to stumble upon one of these no mint mark 1975 Roosevelt dimes, especially one pulled from a proof set, you might want to have it professionally authenticated. Because if it turns out to be one of the very few known No.S proofs from that year, you could be in for the surprise of your life. So now, let's get to the moment you've been waiting for. How much is this tiny, unassuming dime, just 10 cents in face value, actually worth in today's collector's market? If you have one of the rare 1975 Roosevelt dimes struck without the San Francisco Mint mark, in pristine proof condition, you could be holding a coin valued at $54,000. That's right. $54,000 for one little dime. 10 cents that turned into a down payment on a house, a college education, or the car of your dreams. All because of a small mistake and a big mystery. So the next time you're flipping through coins, checking an old proof set, or helping a family member go through a coin collection, pay close attention. That little dime might just be a life-changing treasure waiting to be discovered. Today, we're diving into a story that proves how even the smallest, most ordinary-looking coin can turn out to be something truly extraordinary. We're talking about a coin you've probably seen countless times in your daily life, one you might even have sitting in a jar somewhere right now. But this isn't just any dime. This is the incredible tale of the United States Roosevelt I dime from the year 1991. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at a dime the same way again. When most people think of valuable coins, their minds jump to ancient gold pieces or coins from the 1800s with weathered faces and historical charm. But here's the twist: some of the most valuable coins are actually from the modern era, and one of the most surprising examples comes from the year 1991. That's right, a year many of us remember clearly. And the Roosevelt dime from that year? It holds a secret that only a few people in the world know, and that secret is worth a whole lot more than 10 cents. To understand the significance of this coin, let's take a quick step back in time. The Roosevelt dime was first minted in 1946, following the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. He had led the country through the Great Depression and World War II and was one of the most beloved leaders in American history. The dime was chosen to honor him not only for his leadership, but also because of his strong support for the March of Dimes, a campaign to eliminate polio. Ever since, his profile has appeared on the 10-cent piece, an enduring tribute to a powerful legacy. Now, the 1991 Roosevelt dime is part of that long-running series. At first glance, it doesn't look unusual. It features Roosevelt's left-facing portrait on the obverse, and the classic torch, olive branch, and oak branch design on the reverse. Millions of these were minted, and they were used in everyday transactions across the country. So, how could one of these common coins be worth tens of thousands of dollars? Here's where the story gets really interesting. While most 1991 dimes are just worth their face value, a very tiny number of them were struck with minting errors, tiny mistakes made at the U.S. Mint that slipped through unnoticed at the time. These errors are incredibly rare, and to a trained collector, they're like striking gold. One of the most sought-after varieties of the 1991 Roosevelt dime is the missing mint mark version, specifically, dimes that were supposed to have an S mint mark because they were struck in San Francisco as part of special proof sets. Proof coins are not regular circulation coins, they are specially made for collectors, with extra detail, mirror-like surfaces, and crisp, clean edges. Each proof coin from San Francisco is expected to have an S mark to indicate its origin, but in some extremely rare cases, a few 1991 proof dimes were minted without the S mark. This shouldn't have happened. These coins were supposed to be perfect. The U.S. Mint goes to great lengths to ensure proof coins are flawless, but sometimes, even with all the checks and precision, a few mistakes still slip out. These no-S proof dimes are so rare that only a handful have ever been discovered. It's one of the most thrilling error varieties in modern U.S. coinage, and collectors go absolutely wild over them. Not only are they a symbol of minting history gone wrong, but they're also incredibly valuable due to their rarity and the mystery surrounding how they got out of the mint undetected. Another version of the 1991 dime that draws attention is the off-center strike, where the image on the coin is visibly shifted due to a misalignment during minting. These error coins can range in value based on how dramatic the error is and how well the rest of the coin is preserved. The more unique and unusual the error, the more desirable the coin becomes in the eyes of a collector. And then there's condition. Any 1991 Roosevelt dime with a rare error that is also in pristine, uncirculated, or proof condition becomes a true treasure. Coins that have been handled with care, preserved in sealed cases, and never exposed to the wear and tear of daily use are worth far more than those that have passed through countless hands and cash registers. So how can you tell if your 1991 dime is special? First, look for the mint mark. A regular 1991 dime will have a P, D, or S mint mark. If it's missing the mint mark entirely, and it looks like a proof coin, with sharp details and a mirror-like background, you could be holding a rare no-S proof dime. It's important to note that only proof dimes should have the S mint mark, so a missing S on a proof coin is what makes it incredibly rare and valuable. Second, examine the condition of the coin. Does it look brand new? Are the details crisp and the surfaces shiny? If so, it's worth getting the coin professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Third, keep an eye out for unusual features, off-center designs, doubled lettering, or strange textures. These could all indicate minting errors that add serious value. And now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. If you're lucky enough to own one of the rare 1991 Roosevelt dimes with a missing S mint mark, especially in brilliant proof condition, or if you have a dramatic error coin from that year in pristine shape, you could be holding a coin worth $43,000. That's right, $43,000 for a single dime. 10 cents that could pay off a car loan, cover a semester of college, or even be a down payment on a dream vacation. All because of a tiny minting error and the passion of collectors who understand just how special these rare pieces of American history truly are. So before you toss your spare change into a machine or let it collect dust in a drawer, take a second look. You might just be holding a piece of treasure disguised as everyday currency. Today is one of those rare cases where pocket change turns into a small fortune. That's right, we're shining a spotlight on a coin that many people overlook, but a few lucky individuals have discovered to be worth a surprising amount of money. Today's feature, the 1977 Roosevelt one dime from the United States of America. Now before you say, it's just a dime, how special can it be? Let me assure you, this is no ordinary 10-cent coin. This little Roosevelt dime from 1977 has a secret. A mystery. A twist in its tale. And by the time we're finished with this story, you might find yourself rushing to check your piggy banks, your coin jars, or even that old drawer filled with forgotten change. Because one of these 1,977 dimes, just one, could be worth more than you ever imagined. Let's start with the basics. The Roosevelt dime series began in 1946, a year after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. He was not only a beloved leader during one of the most challenging times in American history, the Great Depression and World War II, but also a tireless advocate for the March of Dimes campaign to eliminate polio. So, it was fitting that his legacy was permanently minted onto the U.S. 10-cent coin. The design is simple, yet powerful. On the obverse, or front, you have Roosevelt's left-facing portrait with the word Liberty to the left, and the phrase, "In God We Trust," below. On the reverse, you see a torch, flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. It's an iconic design that has remained largely unchanged for decades. Now here's where the story gets interesting. In 1977, the United States Mint produced millions, yes, millions, of Roosevelt dimes at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D, and San Francisco, marked with an S. Most of these coins were used in everyday transactions, buying candy, paying for parking, or disappearing into cash registers across the country. So why would any of these coins be worth anything more than 10 cents? Well, here's the twist. Among those millions of dimes, a very small number came out with errors or rare minting anomalies. These weren't noticeable to most people. In fact, many of them went into circulation without anyone realizing they were different. But to collectors, these rare error coins are like hidden gems. Some of the most valuable 1977 dimes are those struck off-center. That means the coin wasn't properly aligned in the minting machine, so the design appears shifted or cut off. The more off-center the strike, and the more intact the date and Roosevelt's face, the higher the value. A perfect off-center strike that still shows the entire year, 1977, and Roosevelt's profile? That's a jackpot. Then there are double die errors, where the coin appears to have a faint shadow or duplicate image, particularly on the date, the lettering, or Roosevelt's features. This happens when the die used to stamp the coin shifts slightly between strikes. To a casual observer, it might look like a blur. But to an experienced collector, it's a sign of something extremely rare and incredibly valuable. Another highly sought-after variety includes no mint mark proof coins. In 1977, the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins, high-quality coins with a mirror-like finish, meant exclusively for collectors. These were not supposed to enter general circulation. They were carefully struck, inspected, and packaged. But every so often, a proof coin escapes into the wild or is discovered with a crucial marking missing, like the S mint mark. If a 1977 proof dime with no S exists, it would be one of the rarest finds in modern coinage, and don't forget condition. The value of any coin, even a rare one, skyrockets when it's in near-perfect shape. Coins that have never been circulated, coins with no scratches or dings, coins that look as fresh as the day they were minted, those are the coins collectors dream of. A 1977 Roosevelt dime with a rare error and in mint state condition? That's a unicorn in the coin world, but here's where it gets even more exciting. People have actually found rare 1977 dimes in the most unexpected places: coin rolls from the bank, estate sales, flea markets, or just buried in old family coin collections. Sometimes, it just takes a second glance, a closer inspection, to spot what others have missed. And that's the real thrill of coin collecting, knowing that treasure can be hiding in the most ordinary places. So, what should you do if you think you found a special 1977 Roosevelt dime? First, examine it carefully. Look for any unusual markings, off-center designs, doubled letters, or missing mint marks. Second, check its condition: is it scratched, worn, or still shiny and sharp? And third, get it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service. That's the only way to truly verify its value. Now, for the moment you've been waiting for. How much could one of these rare 1977 Roosevelt dimes be worth? If you have one of these unique 1977 dimes, with a major mint error, in brilliant uncirculated or proof condition, it could be worth as much as $50,700. Yes, you heard that right. $50,700. For a single dime. So the next time you're sorting through your change or flipping through an old coin collection, remember, the smallest coin can carry the biggest surprise. History, art, mystery, and money, all packed into a little silver disc. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of rare coins, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another hidden gem in American coinage. We've got more amazing coin stories coming your way, and who knows? The next video might help you discover a fortune sitting right in your own home. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep looking, keep collecting, and never underestimate the power of a little dime.